with the rebels. What do you make of it, Prof?
Thank you very much. Number one, we should not go ahead and just criticize Tshekedi's position, give it a blanket condemnation without understanding the undercurrents. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of undercurrents which have been behind the decision. Mm-hmm. And this has to do with disagreements amongst the East African force themselves, because the undercurrents include about 6 or 7 positions. Number one, the East African countries who are involved here are emphatic that Kivu region is of great economic value over and above, and they have already invested heavily there, and they do not want to let go. Mm-hmm. This is something that they don't talk about, but they feel that they have invested and they do not want to let go. Number two, they are also feeling that they will not allow Rwanda to annex Kivu, because Rwanda has an idea of joining the northern and the southern Kivu provinces to create a country. This is something that people are not talking about, but that is the real thing, annexing that region and forming a country. Thirdly, there's the problem that the DRC also ought to recognize that it has an obligation to recognize the Banyamulenge as bona fide citizens. Up to now, the DRC does not recognize the Banyamulenge as bona fide citizens, yet they are in the DRC. These are some of the areas of disagreements. Fourth, we also must know that Kivu is a work in progress, and the region itself is actually the richest part of the earth, because this is where we get coltan and some very, very precious minerals which are needed around the world today. Mm-hmm. So you realize that everybody is going there with self-interest. Fifth, we must also understand that the region is not homogeneous as many people want us to believe. Mm-hmm. And any attempt to install the Banyamulenge dominance is actually an attempt to subjugate other ethnicities. So these are the points of disagreement, the points of disagreements with the DRC. And of course, the Hutu-Tutsi imperial agenda for the entire East Africa is something that the other countries around are very clear about. And Kivu is actually the melting pot of this. Mm-hmm. So in a way, they believe that the DRC should forge unity with all its coherent parts, and this be done under the East African Peace Process body. But the DRC has realized that since these countries are themselves having self-interest and they are not involved in combat, this is why they are going into SADC. And I can confirm to you that in the next 1 or 2 months, SADC is going to hit M23 very hard. And this is exactly what DRC wants, because the troops who have been contributed by the East African countries are not doing what the DRC wanted. And this is what SADC now has offered to do. Hit them, and of course, if possible, push them out of the region.
Is that the right way that, you know, at least from where you sit, do you think that's the right move by having SADC go there and actually, you know, actually go into combat with, you know, like the M23 rebels, as opposed to just having, you know, EACRF was trying to create a buffer? Is that the right move?
Apparently, if you have seen the havoc that is wreaked by M23 and many of these rebels around, then there can be no other way other than to crush them out. Mm-hmm. There is just no other way, and crushing them is the way to go. Mm. And this naturally will offend some of the countries around who are supporting M23. But you see, the area also needs to live in peace.